Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshuhu Srotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirate Ye Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te Mayi Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So yesterday we entered the second section of Chandogya, 6th chapter. Because Swetaketu had asked his father come Guru Uddalaka to teach that Vidya, having known which everything else become known. So the teaching started. What was that? Let us chant Sadeva Soumya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam Tadeka Ahuhu Asadeva Idamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam Tasmadasatas Sajayata. So the topic is Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Bhavati. So what the teacher says, or Eka Vijnana meaning Brahma Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Bhavati. That was the topic. So Brahman is posited as Moola Karanam. And this chapter is called Sadvidya because the Brahman is given a name as Sat in this chapter. In subsequent chapters, other chapters, Bhuma Vidya comes in. Next subsequent 2 chapters we study Ekek Vidya. Now, here we saw yesterday that first second to 7 chapters, we deal with Tat Tvam Padam in 8th section, 2nd to 7th sections, sorry. 8th section is Tvam Padam and 9th to 16th Asipadam. Now Saumya idam sadeva idamagra asit. Before the names and forms have emerged, creation of names and forms, Sateva asit. Sat alone was. Now the question was asked by Purapakshi, Idanim na sat bhavati? Why asit is used? Why it was sat and not now? Is it not sat now? Now also. It is sat only. But since the names and forms have emerged out, the sat is not destroyed because of the presence of the names and forms. It is now associated with names and forms. Sat. That is, Vyavahara Gocharam, it became. The sat became Vyavahara Gocharam, available for transactions through names and forms. So then the question was, we saw yesterday that what was the Karanam then? Karanam is Brahma. Brahma contains, that is Sat, contains unmanifest names and forms. He must be associated with unmanifest names and forms. They were brought into manifestation, but there is no any destruction or change or modification in Sat. So afterwards, we saw that what is the standpoint of the names and forms then? Because Karanam contains material without Nama Rupa, that is Sat. Okay, and Karyam, the effect contains Sat with Nama Rupa. Now the question is, if you say Karanam doesn't contain Nama Rupa, then the sense it is not associated actually with Nama Rupa, if you say, because in unmanifest form. Then where did Nama Rupas have come from then? Again another question is, what is the status of Nama Rupa? So Karyam, the Karanam contains Nama Rupa in unmanifest form, Avyakta Rupena. Karyam also contains Nama Rupa, Vyakta Rupena. Therefore we say, before the creation of pot, etc., clay alone was there. So now technically one problem comes that if we say, what is the standpoint of Nama Rupas? If we say they are integral part of Brahman or not. If you say Nama Rupas are integral part of Brahman, then the problem is it becomes Vishishtadvaitam. And the Nama Rupas change, so there will be a change in Brahma Vastu also. So you cannot say names and forms are integral part of Brahman. At the same time, you cannot also say they are other than Brahman having independent existence. If you say names and forms have independent existence, then it is limiting the Brahman. Brahman limits the names and forms. Names and forms are limited by Brahman because there is duality. Therefore, we saw yesterday, Vedanta says it is neither. Names and forms are neither with Sat, Brahman, nor without. It is Mithya. What is Mithya? This Maya Shakti of Sat Brahman, which is the power of Maya, makes Sat Vastu appear as Nama Rupam Jagat. That Maya appears, that makes the Sat appear There is no change in Sat. Maya is the power which has got that capacity to make that Sat appear as names and forms. So Agre means what? Before the manifestation of names and forms, as you are seeing it as here and now, idam tvena, this and this and this, there was only Sat. So that was used with respect to, not with the Sat and time, with respect to manifestation and unmanifestation of the names and forms. So Acharya Shankara gave one example, like yesterday we have seen that a villager goes in the morning before he goes to other village, he sees a potter keeping all the mud of huge lump of clay, big quantity, wetted it, and he went out, this man, villager. Afternoon when he returned, in the place of mud, he saw all pots and cups and saucers. Then he said, before these names and forms were created, there was clay only. He says that way. Similarly, before the appearance of, now in this example, clay is modified into pots and saucers and cups. But example cannot be stretched, as I told you in the evening or two days before or so. There is no perfect example. So example is only to make a particular point. So in the case of clay, it was transformed, modified. But in the case of pure existence, there is no modification. Then what happened? Brahman alone appears as Jagat through his power of Maya. And this is an organized appearance. It is not a disorganized appearance. There is a law and order, there is a system established in this appearance. Therefore, it is a consciously Brahman projected this. It's a well projected, a complete thought with all its minute details. I heard about a painter who sees any scenic beauty. It could be a city with thousands of houses, rivers, maybe bridges, buildings. Only once he sees, glances, and you take a picture of it. Don't show it to him. But he will see once and he will draw as it is on a canvas with all its minute details. And you can keep the picture there. One of the talented people in the world, amazing skills, special powers. You keep the photo and that canvas painting, they don't find any difference. He draws everything. Meaning once he sees with all minute details, one thought it is created in him, thought form, and in that form all the total picture is included. If you can understand this, so the Bhagavan has visualized, it will come next mantras, and that was visualization. So therefore, he visualized and made the pure existence appear as this Jagat. So before the manifestation, what was existing? This Jagat only. Now, in the second part of the mantra, first part of mantra is Sadeva idamagra asit ekameva advitiyam. Now, regarding this same Sat, some people, Tadhi Ekaha Ahuhu. Somebody says that some people make some mistakes in understanding this. Tarkika people, Shunyavadins, Buddhists, what Buddha meant was, in that state, no Namarupa exists. It is a shunya of the substances which were earlier were seen by you. That is an existence where no Nama, Rupa, Ityadi, etc. are present. Therefore, it is devoid, that state is devoid of everything else. Now, people can misunderstand it that after you eliminate all these names and forms, what exists is nothing. That is a misunderstanding. So he says, the Upanishad says, Tadhi Ekaha Ahuhu. Some people make mistakes in this thinking. What did they say? Before the creation, when the Nama Rupa was unmanifest, there was non-existence. See? Asadeva idam agra asit. Before the creation, there was non-existence alone. Not existence. Upanishad is quoting Shunyavadins, it's a Tarkikadi people. Tad ek ahu, some people say regarding this, the father is telling the son. But truth is what? Existence alone. It can't be non-existence. Shunyavada. Because in that shunyata, even if you say it is all non-existence, who is certifying the non-existence? It's a deep, we cannot just condemn any philosophy. Even if you reach the shunyata, is a great experience, actually speaking. If you can empty yourself, then what remains is pure Sat, impersonal. And from that Sat, if you say that Sat is different from me, then it is not Sat. This is a duality. Then what? You become that Sat. And in that Sat, there is no thought of I exist. There is not even thought that I exist. So therefore, when we are listening, we place ourselves, our existence, our ego intact and try to visualize the Sat and Asat, etc. So therefore, here he says that Shunyavadins conclude. Why in Sushupti you go? Like Sushupti, they say nothing exists. It is emptiness. But there are no Nama and Rupa. So when you go to Sushupti, there is no Vyavahara, there is no subject and object dichotomy, division. When there is no division, it is Shunyata only. That's what they say. So what is the confusion? Confusion is when anything is not available for transaction, anything avyavaharam, which is not available for Vyavahara, we call it as, some people call it as non-existence. It doesn't exist. Just because it is not available for Vyavahara, you cannot say it is non-existence. So therefore, the teacher says, And Asid Ekameva Advitiyam. And they also give an adjective to that non-existence as one without a second. To that non-existence also, non-existence is one without a second. They also call it as Advitiyam only. But Advitiya Vastu of what? Non-existence. So, tad ekaha tadhi ekahuhu asadeva idamagra asit ekameva advitiyam. So, Shunyavadan says, before the creation, there was only Shunyam. It was not Sat. So, they quote, what did they say? Asadeva idamagra asit. They quote this mantra. They say, Upanishad is quoting them. Asadeva idamagra asit. So, now, Asadeva idamagra asit, we say Sadeva idamagra asit. So, Asadeva idamagra asit, ekameva advitiyam, then tasmad asatas sajjayate, it is all statement of Shunyavadins, quoted by Upanishad. So, therefore, this is not Upanishadic teaching, it is Tarkika Shunyavadin says. So, therefore, they gave Visheshanam also, Tasmad Asatas Sajjayate. How come from non-existence, existence be born? They say, Asataha Sajjayata. From non-existence, existence has come out. How can you say that from non-existence, existence has come out? Can you say that? If you say from nothing something can come out, from nothing something can come out, then where is cause and effect law? Therefore, teacher is telling that Uddalaka is teaching Shvetaketu, Upanishad is teaching us that it is false. Don't think when everything Vyavahara Gocharam Jagat Nama Rupatmakam Idam Jagat Sarvam Nishedhate, when it is being negated, what remains is pure existence. And that existence, in fact, it doesn't know that I exist also. The thought also doesn't exist. And existence is only one. Ekameva advitiyam. There is no other second existence, only one existence. So therefore, Upanishad says very clearly, this don't give Visheshanam. As Asat also they give Visheshanam. Ekameva advitiyam.
Swamiji, do the Upanishads recognize Shunya at all?
No.
In no context?
No.
Swamiji, here it is Asad or Sat in the second line.
Asadeva.
First is Sadeva.
Sadeva idamagra asit Saumya is a teaching of the teacher to the Tadhi eka ahuhu. Asadeva idamagra asit. Ra, no, it is Sandhi. Ahuhu plus Asadeva Asudareva. Ahu Rasadeva.
So it means it is non-existent.
Asadeva. Asat means,
Upanishad.
it is not Upanishad says. Ahuhu, they say. Ahuhu means बोलते हैं, ऐसा कहते हैं. इसमें कुछ लोग कहते हैं. Tad eka ahuhu. Some people say. Who? Sunyavadins, Tarkikavadins, they say, Asadeva idamagra asit. Iti ahuhu. Thus they say. It is not true. So therefore, they say that Asat also Advitiyam only. And Tasmad Asatas Sajjayate. And they say, from non-existence, they say existence is born. From non-existence, Nama Rupas have come about. How come from non-existence Nama Rupas come about? That means from nothing anything can come out. If nothing can anything come out, where is the cause and effect law? Therefore, this is not correct. Shunyavadins Bhagavan Shankaracharya Bhashya also is there, explanation of this. So, it is not correct. So, what is the first teaching now? What was the question asked by father to the son? Have you got that teaching from your teacher? Did they teach you this? What? Ena ashrutam srutam bhavati, amatam matam avijñatam vijñatam bhavati. That was the question. Were you instructed in that teaching where unheard becomes heard, unthought of becomes thought of, and avijñatam, unknown, becomes known? So the student was surprised. He was arrogantly came back. So that remember the context. Then teacher said, no, it is possible that vidya is there. That vidya, having known which everything else become known. Amatam matam bhavati, avijñatam vijñatam bhavati, asrutam srutam bhavati. Tad vijñanena. Kena vijñanena, brahma vijñanena. Karana jnanena. Ityartaha. So therefore, what is that karanam? That karanam is posted as sat. But where was the karanam? Karanam is existing before the creation. What do you mean by before creation? Is it not existing now? It is existing now also, but it is associated with the nama rupa. That means, is there any parivartanam in sat? There is no parivartanam. That all we have seen, that logic. In this context, some people say non-existence was in the beginning. Before the creation, there was nothing. When there was nothing, then how come something come out of nothing? So Vedanta says, this Srishti is not real. So Vivarta Srishti it is called. Vivarta means only appearance. Like snake is created on the rope. It is Vivarta. Because without any modification in the rope, snake is created. Without modification in Sat, this Brahman, this world is created. Then in only one context this can be true. Only if you say it is mithya or appearance. But to appearance, what is that? So Brahman has that power to appear himself as Jagat without changing himself. So that Brahman has created entire Srishti. Clear? आगे बढ़े? नहीं तो ही अटक जाएंगे हम. Clear now? So therefore, Sadeva Asit. Tad Ekaha Ahuhu. Somebody says, Asadeva idam agra asit ekameva advitiyam. And then he says, Tasmad asataha sajjayata. It's all nonsense. Now, next mantra, second mantra. Kutasthu kalu somya evam syatiti hovacha katam asataha sajjayeteti satveva somya idamagra asit ekameva advitiyam कुतस्तु कला सौम्य एवं स्यातिति होवाचा कथम असतः सज्जायेतेति सत्वेव सौम्य इदमग्र आसीत एकमेवाद्वितीयम्. So Aruni says, Aruni means Uddalaka Aruni. He says, Katham kutastu khalu saumya evam syat. How can this is possible? Oh my dear Soumya, my dear child. Because from the non-existence, the arrival of existence, people say, how is it possible? Kasmat katham atataha sajjayeta iti. How come existence be born from non-existence? How come something be born from nothing? Katham? Think, oh my dear Soumya. Therefore, as I told you, cause and effect rules go away. Katham asatah sajjayeta iti. Satveva Soumya. Sattu eva Soumya idamagra asit. Therefore, what is, oh my dear, in the beginning was Sat eva, na Asat. Sadeva asit idamagra asit. Sadeva, and that is Ekameva Advitiyam. So before creation, there was no Sat, it was Sat alone, no Asat, it was Sat alone existing. Avyavahara Brahma is Tat, and that is you. That Karanam Brahma is pure Sat, and that Sat is you, Asi, Shweta Keto. That will come later. So, Ekameva Advitiyam. One without the second. So, there is no lopa to existence. Existence is always existence. Somebody can see snake, somebody can see a stick, somebody can see a garland, somebody can see a tree or the broken earth on the rope. People may have different perceptions, but Sat is not affected. That's why idamitham. You cannot say anything about creation, idamitham. If this is like this, you cannot say. Idamitham, this is like this. Idam itham, this is like this. Because whatever you say, this is like this, you are conditioned by your perceptions. You understood my point? You are conditioned by your perceptions. So, no judgment is correct. That is why you go, when you are caught up in dualities of good and bad, that's why rise above good and bad, rise above sukha dukkha, samaya krutva, labha labho, jaya jayo. Tasmat yogaya yudhyasva, naivam papam avapsyasi. It's a beautiful teaching. So when you take a position, you are caught up. If you want to transcend this, don't take any positions. In Vyavahara, you may have to take position and suffer the consequences, good or bad, of it. But from the standpoint of truth, therefore, Ekameva Advitiyam. In this, all the three types of differences are negated. What are they? Sajatiya Bheda, Vijatiya Bheda, and Swagata Bheda. First, Vijatiya Bheda, Sajatiya Bheda, Swagata Bheda. All three types of differences are negated when it is said it is Ekameva Advitiyam. It is one alone. There is nothing, there is no second to it. Very beautiful thought. Like space alone is one. You cannot find in space divisions. And consciousness is subtler than the space. This Akasha is effect of the space, the effect of the Sat. In this Akasha itself, you can't divide. What about the cause? Too subtle and all more powerfully pervasive of the effects. Affect the space. And how can you divide? Therefore, when we go into that state of consciousness, go into means recognize that. Recognizement, it is already there. Therefore, the great mystical statement is there is no initiate into the halls of wisdom. Initiate is already there, hidden. It is only a fact of recognition. Great masters say this is another myth that I have to be initiated. The true initiate is already that. Whatever is obstructing, that obstacles are to be removed. So what is spiritual sadhana? Negation only. Neti, 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 neti. So one sadhana is neti, neti, Burudharaka Upanishad. So 3 types of differences are deleted. First, Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda means like Vruksha Jati. Vruksha, we take trees like mango tree, guava tree, banyan tree, Vijati. Sorry, Vruksha Jati and Pasu Jati, Vijati. Animals are different from plant kingdom. Animal kingdom different from mineral kingdom. Mineral kingdom different from human kingdom. So, Manushya Jati, Pashu Jati, Vruksha Jati. Like in that Brahman, there is no Vijatiya Brahman. So there is no Vijatiya differences in Brahman. Sajatiya difference is mango tree, guava tree, same jati, Vruksha Jati. Sajati, same jati, but there are differences. Like that, Sajatiya Bhedam also is not there in Brahman. Swagata Bheda, in the same tree, branch is not the twig, twig is not the fruit, fruit is not the flower, flower is not the branch, branch is not the leaf, leaf is not the root, root is not the trunk. Swagata Bheda. In Brahman, this kind of Bheda also is absent. Therefore, Sajatiya Bheda, Ekam removes Swagata Bheda. Eva removes Sajatiya Bheda. Advitiyam removes Vijatiya Bheda. So what did I say? Ekam removes what? Swagata Bheda. Eva Ekam. Swagata Bheda is gone. There are no differences in Brahman. Brahman is no tukdas. It is not assembly. Assemblage of parts. Eva removes Sajatiya Bheda. Alone. There is no other Brahman. Eva. Advitiyam Vijatiya Bheda. So there are no 2 Brahmans, Sajatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda, other than Brahman, another type of Brahman altogether, different class of Brahman doesn't exist. Therefore, teacher says, how come Sat be born from Asat, O Saumya? It is all Sat alone. Okay? Now, Mantra 3. Tadaikshata Bahusyam Prajayeti Tattejo Asrujata Tatteja Aikshata बहुस्यां प्रजायेयेति तदपोऽसृजत तस्माद्यत्र क्वच शोचति स्वेदते वा पुरुषः तेजस एव तत् अध्यापो जायन्ते तदेक्षत बहुस्यां प्रजायेयेति तत्तेजोऽसृजत तत्तेज ऐक्षत बहुस्यां प्रजायेयेति तदपोऽसृजत तस्माद्यत्र क्वच शोचति स्वेदते वा पुरुषः तेजस एव तत् अध्यापो जायन्ते. Now, that Sat Brahman is about to create the world now. He creates. Because from Sat alone, Nama Rupa has come. We saw 2nd to 7th section deal with Srushti Prakaranam. Because you have to prove, you have to explain in a nutshell how the creation has come about from Sat, from Brahman. So before the creation, Tadaikshata, first one. Is it not? Tada Aikshata mantra. Tadaikshata. Tadaikshata means what? He started visualizing. Aikshata means something like visualization. He foresaw the creation out of his power. In Taittiriya Upanishad also, it comes, Sloka Mayata, he desired. Bahusyam prajayeyeti satapotapyata satapastaptva yadagam sarvamasrujata. Sloka Mayata, he desired. There in Taittiriya Upanishad. Bahusyam prajayeyeti, let me become many. Here also, Sokamayata के जगह पे तदैक्षत बहुस्याम प्रजायेयेति. Tadaikshata word is used. There Sokamayata is used. Saha Akamayata, he desired. There in Taittiriya Upanishad. Here Aikshata means well thought of. It's a very it is in the mind of, in the Brahman it is actually, before he brought out that creation, it is in his mind. So let us see systematically. He visualized. Now, in our Puranas, elsewhere also, why did he create? First of all, what do you mean by creation? Created huge, this is so huge, billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and unending galaxies. Because directly if I say unending galaxies, you will not understand the import of it. When I say billions and billions and billions half a dozen times, then say endless, then you will understand. Oh, boy, to directly say endless, endless, वो सुन के थक गए endless. एंडलेस का मतलब समझ में नहीं आता है. अनंत सृष्टि बोलने से समझ में नहीं आता है. तो ऐसा बोलना चाहिए. करोड़ों 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 ब्रह्मांड. अच्छा 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 आंख खुलते जाएगा. करोड़ों 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 करोड़ों. When the maximum eyes can open, then you say endless. Why did he create? And there are, what can I say? We cannot imagine the varieties and varieties of beings in the creation. Don't think only physical body is a garva. Manushya garva is nobody exists on any planet. But as per the great things, even in the solar system, there are beings existing. Immediately we think that what is the size, what is the shape. All Manushya garva is that we see everything, search only our type. No need. So many degrees of lokas are there, interpenetrating everything. And innumerable jivas are there. They are all evolving. Each one is a frustrated soul like us. They are caught up in their own world, their own worries, their own anxieties. But why did he create all this? We read Mahabharatam or Purana, so much of creation. Yatha purvamakal payata, like he created in the before, previous kalpa, Brahman created. Similarly, this kalpa also, same Srushti came out. For what purpose? Why are you doing all this? Why the hell you can't keep quiet? Hanji.
What could be the reason of creating so many billions and billions of...
Because it is, Mahatmas have said beautifully that it is an expression of richness of Brahman. Brahman is so rich, दिखाना चाहता है, अपने आप को दिखाना चाहता है. Example बोलता हूँ. One fellow who is fond of himself physically, so he constructed a mirror house, a room, above, below, everywhere mirror. Recently I went to mirror house in Jaipur. Our mission member only has beautifully constructed a lot of exhibition and all. So it took me one day. Swami आप देखिएगा mirror room. नीचे floor भी mirror है. अगर टूट जाएगा यार कांच के अंदर घुस जाएगा बोला. नहीं it won't break. You just walk and run whatever it is. नीचे mirror, ऊपर mirror, everywhere mirror only. Now this man goes there, side mirror, opposite mirror, upper mirror and all. So I asked him one day, एक कांच कम है क्या तेरे लिए? एक दर्पण कम है क्या? He says, Swamiji, I want to enjoy my beauty from all angles. Similarly, Brahman says, I am full, I am getting bored, I am alone, let me become many. The moment he thought came, he became many. And remember, why do we create dream? Dream is expression of your richness. You are capable, na? Your potentiality is there to express yourself in dream. Create a dream. That is your capacity to create. You create mountains, you create rivers, you create plants, animals, yourself, human beings, space, nakshatra, surya, chandra, good and bad and horrible, vulgar, divine, beautiful. What is all this about? So what all you have, you expressed it. Potentiality is there. So it is said Brahma is rich, so rich that infinite. Now coming to my point, why the hell he created? It is said it is only to provide environment for the jivas to exhaust their vasanas. Not a wee bit in the creation, visible and invisible, is created just like that. That is the economy of creation. Not a wee bit is created without a purpose. You ask a painter, a very advanced painter, every stroke has a meaning. You say, is without the stroke on the canvas, chal jayega. But you cannot appreciate its beauty, its importance, relevance with respect to total canvas. A dot also is not useless according to the painter. Understood? Similarly, here he says, Aktadaikshata means what? Here, it is not that he is creating, no, out of purposeless, no. He created. Tadaikshata. So therefore, what is the creation? It is to exhaust, to provide the field for the exhaustion of the vasanas of all the jivas of the previous kalpa. But how come previous kalpa, when is first kalpa created? Instead of asking this question, better you mind your business of how to come out of this sansara. पर काम धंधा नहीं है क्या? पहले कब किया है? पहले कब कहाँ से? Like we ask so many questions to so many people, irrelevant questions. जो जवाब देता उसके लिए भी फायदा नहीं है, आप पूछते आपके लिए भी फायदा बिल्कुल नहीं है. किसी आगे कार पूछा पानी पिलाइए, तब पूछ सकते ठंडा पानी या गर्म पानी चाहिए. Important question, valid. प्यास लग रही है क्या? ये पूछना है क्या? पानी तो पूछ लिया पहले है वो. नंबर 1, कहाँ से आ रहे हो? कैसे आए हो? कैसे, मे बी समटाइम्स कहाँ से आ रहे हो रिलेवेंट हो सकता है. कैसे आए हो? उबर में या ओला में? Irrelevant. So don't ask irrelevant questions. The answer is there because you cannot understand. Vivekananda says beyond Maya, you will get all answers for all questions. But the question is, when the moment you go beyond Maya, nobody will ask a stupid question. Vivekananda asked, somebody asked him, कब पता सकता है? Go beyond, transcend Maya, you will get answers for all these questions. Then he said, paused for a while and said, actually when you transcend Maya, you will not ask this question. But you will get answer only after beyond Maya. माया को पार करो, जवाब मिल जाएगा. माया को पार करने के बाद कोई ऐसा प्रश्न पूछता ही नहीं. So therefore, Aikshata is visualized. How can Brahman visualize? Now question is, how can Brahman visualize? Because to visualize mind is required. And nothing has come out of Brahman at that time. Mind is not created by Brahman. So how can a Brahman, no Panchamahabhutas have come, Sukshma Bhutas have come about. Then how can a visualization? Because visualization means what? A thought is required. Thought is in the mind. Mind is not yet created by Brahman at that time. Then how can he visualize? Nirguna Brahman he cannot visualize. How did he visualize? So, we have seen already that Brahman means what? Brahman plus Avyakta Nama Rupa, which is called Maya. Through that Maya he visualized. Because Maya is the inherent potency. Mind is not required for them to work, for Brahman to work. It is beyond. So the potency is there through that. So therefore, Maya Visishta Upadi Chaitanyam Brahma visualized. So Avyakta Nama Rupa Upadi Sahita Brahma, Maya Upadi Visishta Chaitanyam, that is Ishvaraha, can visualize. Nirguna Brahma is that Brahman when he has not invoked his Maya Shakti. When he has not yet become, he is not aware of Maya Shakti. He is only pure existence. When he becomes aware of Maya Shakti, Then identified with Maya Shakti, the Brahman alone is called, you become Ishvaraha. That Ishvara visualized through his Maya Shakti. Ishvara can visualize, not Nirguna Brahma. Nirguna Brahma means there is no Maya. Maya also at that time merged in him. It is not yet invoked. Like for example, we all also have the power. We only when you become conscious of the power, that power gets executed in action. So first step is what? When you are not aware of your power, then you are aware of your power, then power is executed in action. 3 steps. Think. And suddenly you are sitting quietly and somebody asks you that, hey, you know that chanting, that sloka? Which sloka? That sloka from Bhagavad Gita. You know, no? You beautifully chant every time. Oh, that one? Meaning, before the person reminded you, even though the sloka is known to you, you are not aware of your knowledge that you know that sloka. When you became aware, that is, somebody made you aware of, that is invoked, that power is invoked, you identify with the power, then if you will, you can bring out that power, unmanifested power of sloka, which you had, the knowledge of sloka, can brought out verbally by chanting. Somebody is talking about a dish. When you heard the dish name, then you understood, recognized your potentiality that you know this dish. Only when you heard, somebody reminded you. Then you become identified with your power within you that you made the dish so many times, easy. Then you willed it to produce. Then you entered into the kitchen of that house people. When they were talking, you heard. You said that don't struggle, I know. Then the action initiated, then the result is brought out. Now what is the procedure? Same procedure. Think. Moment you come to the class, you become aware. You invoked because you knew that you can suffer by listening for 1 hour. The power of suffering, that is, Hindi suffering, yatra, sunne mein. You are aware that you can listen. You are a potential listener. You became aware of your potential. Then after entering into the class, you invoke that potential. Similarly, Tadaikshata Brahman, Nirvikalpa Brahma only, that is not Nirguna Brahma, Maya Upadi Sahita Brahma, Ishvaraha is visualized. Tadaikshata, he visualized. So, what is Aikshana? What did he visualize? Bahusyam. Let me become many. This we will see tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Arihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Arihi Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.